Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ GOONS podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tim the Mushmaster Spriggs, and my co-host every week is...
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nico Ball, no new Nico here, and damn, Tim, you were wide awake. Like, we're filming later than we normally do, which is why, like, if you are watching the video, like, I'm laid out on my bed. I can't bring myself to sit up anymore, but nah, Tim is wide-eyed. All right.
I'm wide-eyed. I'm high off life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy. Things are going great. Life is good. We're balling even though there's a pandemic. What's new with you, though?
Not much. I went to the gun range today, and I finally qualified for my concealed carry in DC, which is dope. I got I got, what was it, 43 out of 50 of the shots that I needed to get on the target or whatnot, and it was just a simple process. I learned absolutely nothing throughout the whole process. So shout out to my boy Doc Torrey, who is the person that actually taught me everything that I know with firearms, from building them to the pieces to safety to whatever, because that made life a lot easier. I don't know how the hell you got through the course, Tim. Yeah, how did you get through the course?
By the grace of God. Nah, I think Maryland is a little bit more lax than DC. I know of a couple people that got jammed up with the gun laws there. But yeah.
But what do you
think
mean
it's
they
just by
got
the
jammed
grace
up?
Well, when I used to have a regular job, one of the drivers told me a story where he was moving from Maryland to DC, or they were moving from one or the other, and they got pulled over and they had a gun in their moving truck. Feds were all in his shit, and they found a handgun, and I guess it had broken some law, and he got put into prison for a couple of years. So yeah, I know of a few people that had to deal with the DC gun laws. It's super strict.
Yeah, and it's weird because, like, I learned nothing. And it says it was, like, I was supposed to take, like, a 16-hour safety course, and I did take, like, some safety courses and whatnot. Like, I feel like I took, like, the same thing you did, like, a Zoom class, an NRA class, and 3 range sessions, right?
Yes, and that test is pretty nerve-wracking. Like
What
I was
test?
kind of nervous.
What
Well,
was nerve wracking?
the range session, like when you had to actually hit the targets, like I was like John Wick. I
What
even got
did
a
you have
headshot.
to do though? Like, that's what I'm saying. It was like stupid easy for me. And then I was getting mad because he was just like, well, like, load 5 and shoot. And I was like, well, what do you want me to, like, am I shooting for accuracy? You want me to shoot like empty 5 in a row? He's just like, I'm gonna blow the whistle and you shoot. And I was like, all right.
Oh man, really? Your instructor was kind of an asshole.
Yeah, and
Our
then
instructor was mad chill.
that was just it. He just kept blowing the whistle. He was like, he said, you got to do it at like 5, 10, 15 feet. And then that was it. And then, like, at one point I asked him, I was like, well, why do you have to shoot from like 15 feet if you can never legally shoot somebody 15 feet away in self-defense? He's like, yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. And I was like,
I mean, as
okay.
long as you got
Like,
the practice in, as long as you're legal, because election day is very near and you
no,
got to have good aim.
I guess, like, my issue with it, and I guess what I want to point out through the whole experience is, like, the problem is, like, my second ring session, the owner of the company that we both paid for, he mentioned something that was like about, like, you can't shoot somebody 7 feet away ever and claim that it's self-defense. Like, I think, and I don't remember what he said was an okay amount of feet. I don't remember, it was like 3 or 5. And he's like, yeah, you're okay. But if you think about, like, if you're in a situation where you're scared for your life and you're armed, like, you're not thinking about, like, oh, 7 feet, 5 feet, unless somebody outright tells you, like, hey, shorty, if you got a gun and he's 7 feet away, you're gonna go to like 25 to life, or you're serving felony charges. Like, that's what I would assume, that you pay to learn DC gun law so that you know when you can use your gun. And I learned none of that. Like, yeah, nothing. Mm-mm.
I think we need to have a licensed police officer on this show. A good cop, not a
I
bad
don't,
cop, a good
I
licensed
don't,
police, so we know the rules. Like I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6, but I understand your frustration
I
because
don't,
not only do you have to pay out the ass, but like that just is very troubling because if I'm getting ran up on, I'm trying to hit you before you even get close. You know what I mean?
I mean, just if they have a gun, like that's the thing. Like if they have a gun, one thing. If they have a knife, you need to wait till they're like 3 to 5 feet away. But again, I don't think a DC cop would know so much. Like, and it was funny because the owner of the company, again, like my second range session, which was the most informative. Like I do, like maybe we could get this dude on it. Maybe not after I was like, oh yeah, I didn't learn anything about DC law, and I guess I was supposed to. We'll see. But what was he saying? Like he had mentioned, he was asking me the parts of the gun, and he's like, well, what's this? And I was like, it's the magazine, like never the clip. It's always a magazine, it's never a clip. And he's like, oh damn, like no, not many people know that. And he's like, who taught you? Like what branch of the military was he in? I was like, he wasn't in the military. He was a military brat. I said. And it's like, damn, because most military don't even know this type of stuff. And it's like, most cops don't. Like I said, I went to the police station to try to get my fingerprints, and they didn't give me the right information, you know? So, yeah. Finding the people that do know the information, though, and educating yourself is really important. So I do think we should try to find somebody else, maybe have them on the podcast.
It's like finding the proper jiu-jitsu school. You have to do your due diligence, you know? You got to find a school that works best for you. You got to find one that teaches you good technique and is actually a clean school and isn't dirty and doesn't have rodents and like, you know, possums falling out of the ceiling. Speaking of which, I didn't get too much flack about what I said. We didn't get too much flack at all from what I heard about what we said about Daisy Fresh last week. Did you
You
get
know
any
why?
flack? I didn't hear. Why?
Probably because we have a different demographic, you know. We have a, you know.
True. Yeah, you know, we're certified goons. We're signed to the streets. You know, we're for the culture, huh? We're
Professional.
professional.
The look on
Yes.
a Ray's face when you explained what they were was just so classic, you know. It was just so
Oh my.
classic.
No
She
home
was just
training. I
like,
think we
what?
said it best.
She's
She's
like,
like,
Daisy
what?
Fresh? Laundry?
Where they do that at? Where they do that
Like,
at?
excuse me, I'm in my own house. Like, it's just like,
Yes.
mm-mm.
But check it, you know. Sometimes you gotta pay the bills. And speaking of paying the bills, I want to shout out our sponsor for this episode, Perry Athletics. Perry Athletics, they blessed us. Nico's wearing the hoodie. I love the hoodie. I showed the sweatpants last week, a couple of weeks ago. Eyes up here, ladies. Eyes up here. But they have a new multi-purpose fighting short. I don't really consider this a fighting short. I mean, as you can see, it is the new short. I've been trying it out. I wear it every day. I wear it to lift weights. I wear it to do Muay Thai kickboxing. Whenever I can try to do no-gi. I haven't done it in a few weeks, but I have done jiu-jitsu in it. These are great multi-purpose shorts. They have a 7-inch inseam, so it's closer to your true waist. So they're not like low rise like the jeans the girls used to wear back in the day. They have high quality Velcro, way better than any Velcro that I've ever had. Like, notoriously fight shorts throughout the history of MMA and grappling. The Velcro wears out really quickly. These have not worn out. I wear these at least 3 to 4 times a week whenever I train. 4-way stretch. I'm a heavyweight. I may not look it, but I'm a heavyweight. I'm a pretty big boy. So I have not split my pants like SpongeBob in these. These are extremely durable, and there is no dick print. And ladies, you can wear the shorts too. So it's not going to show any of your private parts like a lot of fight shorts do. They fit perfectly. I love them. Go to perryathletics.com. They have a new capsule collection with Nick Wooster, who is a world famous fashion designer. They have the best fight shorts, the best sweatpants. They even have dope ass tie-dye socks. Like all the youngins, whenever they see me wear them, like my little cousin, all them, like the little fly boys, they're like, where did you get those socks? I say, go to perryathletics.com, use promo code BJJ GOONS for 15% off. Make sure you use the promo code. Show us some love, show these guys some love and support the cause, support the brand. Oh, and one more thing before we continue. Make sure you hit that like button if you're watching right now. We need to get those likes up. We get so many views, but we need more likes. We got to spread the good word.
Yo, Tim,
I'm
going to go. Wait, I was going to go on you real quick, but it's like, how old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old.
You're what?
I'm 30 years old.
I mean, I think I'm older than you, but it's like, all right, perryathletics.com, that is a thing. That is true. But like, I think nowadays the kids be shopping on the gram, and they do have they do have an Instagram store. I was gonna say because their Instagram store is also on point, and it's like I think it's like I'm thinking also Fashion Nova, and I shouldn't be putting Perry Athletics in Fashion Nova, but it's like everybody I know is like buying stuff off Instagram. And yo, we should do like some kind of poll. I don't know how to do a poll, but it's like how many people actually shop off Instagram as compared off of real websites nowadays?
You know what? The best bet for them to do is everybody that's watching right now, go follow Perry Athletics on Instagram. You need to follow them. So what I want you to do is if you're watching this, you're probably going to be on your phone. Your phone is probably in your hand right now. Go to your Instagram because I know you're on Instagram all the time. All right. If you haven't followed them already, you need to go on your Instagram right now. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. Go to Instagram. Not you. I'm talking to the people who are watching this when this drops every Monday at midnight. And I need you to go follow Perry Athletics on Instagram. DM them and tell them the Goons sent you. Show us some love. We know you guys are watching. You know, Nico, we're almost at a very big milestone for the podcast.
What, $1 million?
I mean, we already got $1 million. We're super rich. Didn't you know? We're jiu-jitsu people. We're in the jiu-jitsu industry. Everyone is rich if they do jiu-jitsu. But seriously, we're almost at 100,000 downloads this month.
Damn, that's what's up.
Damn.
That's what's up.
Yes. So, guys, go to Perry Athletics. Follow them on Instagram. Buy their merch. Remember, promo code BJJ GOONS for 15% off.
All right, I got more random questions about shorts, though. Okay. What's more comfortable? Because I'm like a female, and all I do is train with men. What's more comfortable, like when you're grappling, like baggy like shorts or tight shorts? Because you know them old school baggy like MMA shorts used to be really popular.
I think that the way the Perry shorts are cut, like if you look at it, all right, like look at them.
And these are like I don't like, to me these are like a thinner, like a European shorter style. The material is like really nice. I've seen them. Like I've seen like I seen Atacola running around with a pair of them, haven't I?
Yes, I blessed the brother. I blessed the little homie with some, you know. Perry, you guys got to hit Atacola up because he's a model. He models for all the Favela Jiu-Jitsu, Bushmaster gear.
But I would consider those to be a tight. Like, so are they more comfortable? Is it like?
I don't like baggy stuff. I didn't like it back in the 2000s and like when it was cool to wear baggy clothes. I feel like I need to be able to move. I cannot be hindered. I'm a flexible person. I think those cut is more of the European cut or the Muay Thai short cut is perfect for grappling. But like I said, there's no dick print and they are durable, nice, hardy fabric. So it's not going to tear. And like I said, I lift weights in them. I do kickboxing in them. I do jiu-jitsu in them. They're the perfect short. I like that cut. That cut's the best for me, you know. And they have different sizes and it sits at your true waist, you know. It's not going to be too low, you know, like you're wearing baby fat jeans, and it's not going to be too high.
Do shorts ride up on guys like they ride up on girls?
Not for me, no. But I got some junk in my trunk, so.
I mean, wouldn't that make your shorts ride up if you have the junk in your trunk? Like, because, you know, sometimes it's just be like lumping up. I don't know.
Nah, not for pair of shorts.
Right down.
No.
Right down.
Nah, they fit at your true waist. I'm telling you, these are the best shorts I've ever worn. So that's what I'm saying. Use promo code BJJ Goons, 15% off.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. All right, who's our guest for this week? Or where is our guest? I imagine that we're filming this late because he is teaching.
He was teaching. He is a very busy guy. Our guest this week is Devhonte Johnson. He is a world champion at purple belt and brown belt. He's been tearing it up at black belt. I mean, even this year, he beat Felipe Andrew and Vinicius Trader. I apologize, but you know,
Tractor. You call him
Tractor trader.
Wow.
He's a tractor trader.
Portuguese.
We need to work. I have some homies that I said, yo, you gotta teach me Portuguese. They be laughing. They do KKKKK whenever I tell them that I want to learn Portuguese.
Was bad.
They're laughing at me in Portuguese. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not even gonna lie. I slid into Devonte's DMs right after that fight. I was like, ooh, that was a great fight. Congratulations.
Hey, listen, he's probably getting a lot of people sliding in his DMs because Devhonte is a straight up beast. I've competed against him before. He's a straight up animal. He's tearing it up a black belt. I mean, he keeps up this pace. he's arguably competitor of the year, and he's balling during the pandemic like us, but he's on the mats kicking ass. Like I said, he's a 2-time world champion. He's solid in takedowns, guard, and passing. He is a black belt under Murillo at Unity BJJ in New York, but he's from Paterson, New Jersey. Now, I heard Paterson is pretty real. It's real in the field. He's from the trenches and he fights like it. So, I'm really excited to interview this brother. I don't think Devhonte gets a lot of credit because not only is he a great competitor, but he is an awesome kids coach. He goes out there, he puts in the work. He has kids pan champions. They go to California. He's doing the damn thing. The young brother is being successful. He's positive. He's not going on Instagram for the clout. He's doing the damn thing. He's keeping it real. He's real in the field. So I'm really excited to interview him, Nico. What about you?
No. I see him all the time at competitions. I've taken pictures of him a couple times. He's definitely like always down for the people. I know he has gone down to Virginia Beach, took a whole bunch of kids down there. So I definitely want to talk to him about that. Like what inspired him to go down there, why him and Diego Bispo thought they could do that and not tell me so I could be down there. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Let's get started. Here we go, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, our guest for this evening, world champion, Devhonte Johnson. Welcome to the show. Welcome to BJJ Goons, Devhonte.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Much obliged.
So how's everything? We're recording a little bit later because you're a busy man. You run your own academy, which is a huge thing.
Yeah, man, it's rough. I was actually, we've been moving since 7:30 this morning, 8 o'clock. First class was at 8. Last class just finished now at 9:30. So I was like, yeah, if you guys can do after 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock preferably, that helps out a lot. But yeah, man, I've just been trying to stay active, trying to stay busy, building up the gym again after the first quarantine. Well, the quarantine, so, just trying to keep everything going in the right direction.
Did you get any kind of break after your fight?
Which fight? Because I've been doing a lot of stuff lately, actually. The most recent one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no. I went right back to training because I'm gonna fight Patrick Gaudio in 2 weeks. So there's no time to rest. You know what I mean?
Oh shit! So you're going down to Brazil to fight Patrick Gaudio?
Yeah, I actually got my flight. I leave on the 7th.
Yeah. Oh man!
Wait, are you on BJJ Stars?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I need to go to Brazil, but I'm so worried about Corona off and on. So it's man.
Yeah, I feel you. I just kind of feel like I can't first off, if I don't compete, that's less cash. You know what I mean? So that's a main motivator, to be honest with you. but at the same time, you can't not I just feel like you cannot live your life if you're young, and you're healthy, and as long as you be responsible and considerate to others, I feel like you should be allowed to live your life. So that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Before I go see my grandparents, I make sure I get tested, or my grandfather. I make sure I get tested before I go around my mom and stuff like that. And I do all the responsible stuff for my students as well, because I'm going all over the place and doing stuff. And I just try to be responsible, not really for myself, because I'm not worried about myself. I don't want to say that now and then fucking die of coronavirus in 2 weeks. But but I try to think about everybody else that might be affected, that I might not be directly in contact with. So I try to do the right thing for those people while still living my life. Main thing, So that's why I took the fight in Brazil, and I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a big deal, man. Congratulations on getting that fight. You've been on a tear lately. I mean, really,
brother.
I've always been paying attention to your career, and
Likewise.
you always fly under the radar. But I'm like, dude, this guy is seriously good. The people that you've beaten at your level. So when you're a purple belt, brown belt, you're a world champion at both belts, and the people you beat to get there were, in a lot of people's eyes, supposed to be the favorite. I think the guy you fought from Team Alliance, you fought him twice, correct? What's his name?
Yeah, I fought Fabio Lano so many times, it's hard to remember how many times I fought Fabio Lano.
Exactly. So you take on the best, and you're always given the smoke, gi or no gi. So once again, congratulations on the fight. And my first question for you is how has the training been? You're in the New York, New Jersey area, correct? Are you only training? Are you training in your house? Are you training at your academy? Are you going to Unity in the city? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so I've just been training at my gym primarily. I'd say it's been like 80-20. You know what I mean? And depending on like lately, like the last 3 weeks or so, I haven't really been able to train in the city because like I've been, doing different tournaments and super fights. So like after I come back, I'll like make sure I'm not like freaking, positive or anything like that before I go around everybody else. So like I haven't. And then like when you do that, when you take, I'm pretty sure you know this too. You're an instructor too. You're part of a gym. You take some time away, even though you have someone like covering and the gym's still open, the vibe kind of lowers. You know what I mean? So like the commitment, like, man, like if I leave like one day, like it's like, everybody goes on vacation, you know what I mean? Miraculously, so like the commitment changes. So like you gotta come back and like dedicate to like getting that vibe back up again and getting everybody consistent again and wanting to train consistently. And then when you leave again, then it goes down again. So like, that's like the trade-off, you know what I mean? When you compete and you're the only instructor, the only black belt in the gym, every time you leave, the vibe kind of drops, the commitment kind of drops. So when you come back, I can't just come back and then like, oh yeah, I'm going to go train at Unity too. You know what I mean? Because then I feel like, all right, what about us? You know what I mean? So like, I got to come back and like invest into getting my gym, on the right like wave, and then I can like dip into the city and do my pro training sessions with the guys. So this week I actually got back to it, but before that it was pretty tough, doing all of the super fights back to back and still trying to like, take care of the gym. So mainly I've been training with my students in Jersey, and it's been good. It's been a fun challenge because for most of these fights, like I've had to get creative, right, with like how I train. You know what I mean? To like make sure that I'm still like getting better and like evolving in different ways if I can't get the physical, like raw training in. You know what I mean? So like how can I get more technical? How can I get smarter about how I go out there and compete? And so that's what I've been trying to do. And I feel like it's been like it's been a negative because I want to train with the guys in New York. I want to be around them because I've been grinding with them since I was like, 20 years old. But it's also been beautiful helping my students get better because they have their goals. And also like, challenging myself to adapt and to like learn like how to get the most out of my students while helping myself get ready for these competitions,
So where is your gym? Because, if you look at your BJJ Heroes profile, it says you're from like, that typical crime-ridden area in New Jersey. And like, I mean, like I'm from Philly, so like you never hear anything good about New Jersey, like Jersey Shore wrestling. So like, where is your gym? And like, I know everybody knows you as a competitor from Unity. I'm not sure how many people know about like the work you actually do at your own place. Could you tell us a little bit about your gym and how you got that started up?
Yeah, so my gym is in Clifton, New Jersey.
In what?
247 Crooks Ave. Clifton, New Jersey. Clifton, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Clifton. Yeah. So 247 Crooks Ave in Clifton is right on the border of Patterson. So I'm like really close to home. I don't live in the same neighborhood that I grew up in, but I live close to my gym. So I live on the bordering of Patterson and Clifton. And the gym's in a really nice area. Clifton is a pretty well-off town. It's kind of like a city suburb at the same time, because like half of this, like the town or city, whichever one you call it, I don't know which one it's technically called, but like half of it is like kind of like city, has a lot of like businesses, a lot of like retail stores and stuff like that, and like busy main streets. And then you have like certain areas on the outskirts that are suburban areas and like little like communities that people like have houses and stuff like that, apartment buildings and stuff like that. I got started teaching. So I first started teaching in 2015, right? I was teaching in Unity, and I was doing just a free drilling class twice a week. At first it started off once a week, and I think Merle was like, all right, he's not terrible, so I'll give him another class. And then it was like twice a week. And then I really started liking teaching from the jump when I started teaching in Unity. I used to help out kids' classes and stuff like that, but I never really ran my own class for like an extended period of time. It would be like a few weeks at a time. Then the instructor come back, and then I'm assisting again. So like Unity New York is where I got my first chance to like teach consistently. And shortly after that, maybe like 6 months into me teaching twice a week, I got the opportunity to like start teaching at a wrestling gym. Right, the guy, I had met him through a friend, right, who who knew I wanted to get better at my wrestling at that time. Because I felt like I would go to Nogi Worlds and I could beat like all the jiu-jitsu guys, but if I fought a really strong wrestler in absolute, like it would give me like such a tough time. So I was like, I need to learn like at least like 3 or 4 takedowns that I can chain together that can like give me a chance to like survive on the feet. And then so I went there to train, and then he's like, oh man, you do jiu-jitsu, blah blah blah, you're pretty good, like you want to teach my guys. And so this space had pretty much like one level that was not occupied. And he was like, like after like me like being there for a little bit, he's like, if you want to take that space, you can take it. At first, when I first heard it, I was like, no. Like, and then like I talked to Merle about it. He was like, why not? And I was like, bro, I'm a pro ball. What am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do running a gym? And he's like, no, give it a try, dude. He was like, if it bombs, it bombs, but you never know what happens. You might like it. It might turn out to be a good thing. Who knows? Like, give it a try. You should always, like he was telling me, like you should try to do. You should always give it a try. You shouldn't just turn it down, especially if you have no reason to like turn it down. Like there was no reason for me not to do it. Like I didn't have to pay rent for like an extended period of time. I was just pretty much occupying the space for the wrestling coach as long as I taught his guys wrestling. I mean jiu-jitsu, right? And so I went there, and at first I only had like maybe like 2 or 3 students. And like they were like kids that I had been teaching from my old gym, and they're pretty much like my nephews, right? Their names are Jalen and Jason. So like I was like teaching them, and then like they had a kid, like these 2 brothers that they used to like fight at the tournaments all the time, and like Jalen and Jason went from like losing to these kids or having like really tough matches with these kids to like just like in a matter of like 3 months, just no competition. You know what I mean? Like they were like getting it better than pretty good. And the dad comes up to my one of my best friends, like Najee, and he's like, Najee's their dad, and he's like, what did you guys do? Like, like my kids used to be so close. We used to like go back and forth. Now like my kids can't win a match. What do you do? And he's like, listen, my brother teaches. Because Najee and I, we're not blood brothers, but we're brothers. You know what I mean? Like we're boys, really tight. And he's like, yeah, my brother teaches jiu-jitsu. You should really think about getting some work in with him. Start off with privates. Blah blah blah. So he phones me in. And I start teaching these 2 kids. Same thing again, but these 2 kids are even quicker, right? Like maybe like after like a month of training, not even. They're like they go back to competition. It's like a 9-day. Like they're like killing everybody on the circuit, and then their training partners are like, yo, like, what are you guys doing? Like, what's the secret sauce? Because like you guys train here, leave halfway through class, and then you guys are just miraculously getting better, blah blah blah. And then so like, all right, well, you guys need to calm down. So like before I know it, I have like, at first I was gonna do personal training. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was gonna do personal training, and I was gonna teach jiu-jitsu like on a private basis, but I was mainly gonna do personal training, right? I had like got my certification and everything, and I was just gonna do like a little bit of jiu-jitsu, mainly personal training, because I thought I'd make more money, like just like doing personal training. It's less like committed. Like I just come in for like a half hour, do those sessions, bang them out, and keep it moving. And then all of a sudden, I got these kids that want to train with me, and I'm like looking at them, and I'm like, they're coming from all these other gyms that I won't name, and like, they're just like, like my kid's been training for 7 years, but your student is kicking them behind, and they've only been training for like a year, and I'm like, that's rough.
really sucks for you, huh?
Yeah. I was just like, wow, and I felt bad, because like, like I think we've all come in contact with like, places that are not really geared towards helping people necessarily get better, but they just kind of want them to have a good time, and just like kind of like collect their just pay your tuition, we'll give you your belt, every 3 months, or something like that. And like these kids wanted something more, and like at that time there was not many places that were like giving that, and I was just like, I'm like a really like kind of like, I don't know, I guilted myself into like saying like, all right, fine, I'll just do it. Like, and then I like sold all the like lifting equipment that I got, and then like we brought mats, and then I just started teaching kids. Like when the gym first started, I had no name for it, first off, because I didn't even plan to like do it really like that, and we had no mats, so I had to like find a way to get mats. We had to find a way to get mats. And, like,
man, they're expensive, bro. Mats are expensive, bro.
Dude,
trust me.
Like, let me tell you something. Look, you get 800 square feet of good mats, it's like $3,000 easy. Like easy.
And that's not even including shipping.
Exactly. Like, people don't like know, like, so, and you don't want to get cheap mats.
People out here looking for mats like crackheads looking for bios. Like everybody I know will hit me up every now and then. You're like, anybody would use mats? And I was like, what do I look like? No, I don't got no mats. I don't got no mats for you, son. Like,
Yo, it's crazy because like you don't want to get no cheap mats either, because like you'll end up paying more like having to replace them. You know what I mean? Like when you get like carpet burn and rug burn and all kinds of like staff and stuff, if the mat's not a good mat. So like I was not gonna get like, we didn't want to get crappy mats, so we got some nice mats, and then we were just like, all right, well I guess we're doing this jiu-jitsu thing, and I was like, all right, fine. So like I just started off teaching kids. And at first, it was only supposed to be twice a week because I was going to do it, but I was adamant about not messing up my training schedule. Like, I will only do this on days where I had a scheduled off time. You know what I mean? Like an off window. And so it started off, I think, Sundays. Start off on Sundays. So don't train on Sundays. I take the day off. And I was like, all right, fine. So I can dedicate 2 hours of my Sunday. Not a big deal. Actually, it was supposed to be an hour. Then it became 2 hours. Then it became 3 hours. And then it was like, all right. So, like, these kids want to train more, but, like, I cannot have 4-hour kids training sessions. So, like, at least that's what I said at the time. I can't have 4-hour kids training sessions. So, like, let me just make it, like, all right, let's do, all right, fine, Monday and Sunday, all right? Or Wednesday and Sunday, because I wanted to spread it out. You know, I didn't want to have to, like, teach too much. Like, to me, like, teaching 2 days in a row was like too much. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. So like Sunday and Wednesday, fine. And then, you know, I have like 3 more kids pop in, and like they're like literally like the parents came to me and they're like, look, man, we want you to teach our kids jiu-jitsu. Like, how much, you know, would you want to like charge tuition? I'm like, I don't know. I never like charge like it's like actual tuition. Like they're like, you know, why don't you like add 2 more days on the schedule? Like these parents are like persuading me to like, you know, like do this like for real. And I was like, all right, fine. So then next thing you know, we got like 4 kids classes on the schedule. And like, I'm probably like one of the few gyms that started out only with a kids program, you know what I mean? And like, cause that's what like kids just kept coming in. And I taught my kids, I still do. We teach the kids like we teach the adults. So like, there's no difference in the expectation, the standard of execution and like commitment. So like, those kids come in every day. They work hard for 2.5 hours. They go home. They have a day off, and then they come back again. You know, so and you know it was pretty cool. You know, to start like that because we got like we were like nobody for 6 months, and then like on the local scene at least we like just started like killing everybody. Like I was bringing like this group of like 10 kids, and like we went like a whole year without losing a match, and like my kids were like fighting like teenagers. Like you remember this? Like the only time we lose is when we fought against you guys. And I was like, it got to a point where I would this is how me and Donnie started like talking. And I'm like, you know, like rehooked up with like Shane and them because I'm like, yo, when are you guys competing again? You know what
I was gonna because I know you have a big team, and I know you went down to like see Diego Bispo. He's got a big team, but TLI's got a big team, and they always be up in Naga. I was like, y'all kids must have run into each other.
But here's the funny thing. So like,
y'all got beef?
Oh, never that.
They got beef with one of my kids from the favela that I brought here with Moicano. They're like, bring him to that.
Really?
Elijah.
That's crazy.
I did.
You know, it's funny. I think like, at least from my perspective, like I can't speak for Tim and the team, but from our perspective, we were always excited to like have the opportunity to like, you know, like match up against Lloyd Irving. And I remember back when, because at first we didn't fight many of you guys because you guys were all in expert division. Like, so we had to work our way up to getting to those kids, you know what I mean? So like we started off beginner, and then like the way we did it was like, if you want a beginner tournament, like you just get up to the next level. Like, man, come on, stop it. Like, all right, we don't want to go intermediate. Like there was no like restaying in a division after you already won it, like a skill level after you already won it. So it took us a little while before we actually got to like Lloyd Irving kids. And I think the first time that I can remember, like when it really started, because like at first it was like tough. It was always like tough matches, and I just remember like we started like fighting them at kids' pens, and then I remember Donnie saying, he's like, man, we came all the way to California to fight each other, and we could have just did this in on the East Coast. You know what I mean? Like it was like that. It was pretty cool. I remember like it was good times having our kids team, because like our kids too, like our kids would be like, yo, like yeah, we gotta train hard because you know. We have to face Team Lloyd Irving at the next kids, like the next night battle at the beach. You know, like that got them so motivated. You know, like every time they fought against those kids, and I respect those kids too, because like You know, it was like kind of like the same thing. You know, you meet people that are kind of like on the same kind of grind. You know, so like everybody needs a good rival, pretty much. You know what I mean? So like for us, you guys were a good rival, and we didn't fight with Diego Bispo kids until like a little bit after we had already like been clashing with you guys. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Team Wood Urban and those like little like Unity Kids team battles were definitely the highlight of the Nagas and Prize for sure.
Oh,
and then you'd have all of us yelling and like it's so funny because like you'd have these like these little like ski rinks or like gymnasiums.
yes.
And everybody would be competing, and it'd be like a normal like level, right? And then next thing you know, you got us at like 2 or 3 tables, and we're going crazy. You know, and like Shane is running across the mat, and like I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to catch up to like did I lose you guys there?
Yeah,
no, you're good. You're
all right,
good.
cool. Yeah, I would try to like catch up.
The only time you see Shane Jamil like smiling or hype, you know?
Yeah,
Jiu-jitsu.
bro. Like, and man, I used to be sweating after those matches, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you because it got intense. All I'm saying, I was just, man, like even coaching, it would get intense because those kids, like man, so much heart from both teams every single time.
Matches.
Dude, like
insane. Like to the end.
Oh, bro, to the last second, like
yes,
last second, and I'm like, man, and it's crazy because like that stuff used to motivate me. Like I used to go back like train. I'd be like, look, I can't look. These kids are like setting like I can't have them setting the standard. You know what I mean? Like you know, I had to go to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Like because they would just be going so hard and like you know like it's so funny because like when you have kids. I always took teaching kids like very seriously because I always feel like kids are like the glass, like half like empty. You know what I mean? Like you get to just pour hopefully positive energy into these, you know, malleable like little individuals. And so like for me, like I always wanted to be a good example. You know what I mean? So like everything I did, and I always like literally it was important for me. Like if I said something, and I used to tell them this too. Like I'm not gonna tell you to do something that I didn't do. You know what I mean? If I'm not doing it, if I'm not pushing myself the same way, I'm not gonna look at you and ask you to do twice as much as me. You know what I mean? So like it always like if I wanted them to like push to a certain gear, then I had to go and like experience that for myself so that when it came time for me to push them through that, like I had to be like, look, I know what it's like to be here. I know what you're feeling. I know what you're thinking, and like I could connect with them in that way. And it was pretty cool. Like the highlight for me of like being an instructor is definitely like being able to teach kids. Being able to like be a part of that process is like you'll see them come from like these little like shy timid kids that come into the gym or the little baby kids that got no like you know respect for nobody.
No home training.
They're like here take one. You know what I mean? You know,
it's
like,
always the hardest.
Do what you can. You know, and then like you know the parent like it's kind of like you know like I hope you can get some out of them, and then like in 6 months they're like a new kid. You know what I mean? And they just kind of like, they get like a level of self-confidence in themselves that kind of changes how they decide to like handle certain issues and certain conflicts, you know what I mean, that they deal with in real life. So that when they learn how to deal with problems and obstacles and adversity in jiu-jitsu, they take that same mindset and they bring it to real life and then they act differently. They behave differently. They overcome differently. And that for me was more important than like any of the jiu-jitsu stuff. Like to see like you helping like usher in the next generation of like decent, hungry people with good work ethic, like that was the biggest thing for me. And that always would show itself in the jiu-jitsu, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So that's how we got started. And then, you know, it's funny because people then start like seeing my kids, like adults at the tournament would be like, yo, like, where the heck are these little kids from? You know what I mean? And then they're like, yo, can I, like, yo, you got adult classes? I had no adult classes on the schedule. Didn't even want none at the time, actually. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I didn't even want no adult classes. And then people start coming in. They're like, yo, like, can we do adult classes? And I'm like, dang, bro, I'm already leaving here at like 7 o'clock. Like, I don't want to stay here another hour.
Like, I'm already here like more days than I want to be here, more hours than I plan to be here.
It was really, like, I'm not gonna lie. It was in the beginning, it was all begrudgingly because I was still in school too. You know what I mean? So like I was still in college.
What were you studying?
So I wanted to be a lawyer. So I was like studying political science and law and society. Yeah. So I had 2 majors back then.
Oh, you know, just that. Like
school?
the Brazilians say, so you so, you know, so you so just
yeah.
that.
So I was at Ramapo, and then like once the gym opened, I was like, yeah, I got to drop a major. So, so I had to drop a major. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna hold you on that one
You
either.
be like 18 credits?
Bro, more like 20. More like 20.
20?
It was 20. Yeah, bro.
That's hard
son.
if you're a full-time student, by the way. Everyone's
Son,
listening.
yeah.
It's college is freaking hard. I just have
Bro.
I have nightmares that like every once in a while where it's like I'm missing a credit and like graduation is in a month. Like it's hard, bro. Like
Nah,
PTSD.
people wonder why I was in Brazil. I was like, because I was burnt out, because I went from my undergrad to my master's degree while fighting and working full time as a teacher. And I was just like, fuck it, and went to Brazil and didn't come back for 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you, man, because like I think I was training before school because I used to have mats at my dorm because I dormed. As soon as I got the opportunity out the hood, I was like, see ya. So
Peace.
Mama, I'll see you when I get this degree. I lived in the dorm, and I got my friends to like lend me some mats, and I would like have like my friends. So I had a friend who used to work at like used to go to work at like 7:00. So he'd meet me on campus at like 5:30, 6, and I would get a drilling session in from 6 to 6:50. He'd take a quick shower, and then he'd always go in late to work because that was the only time he could train. And then I had another friend who was working near campus, but like always worked so late that he never had the time to get to like to his class, the class at his gym. So like whenever he was late, he'd be like, "Yo, Bones, can we train?" And I'm like, "Yeah, come through. Like I'm gonna roll with you." And I had another friend who lived not too far from campus, and I used to come drop by his house, and he had mats in his house, and I would train with him. So whenever I couldn't get to the gym, my old gym or Unity, I always had like like little places to fill in training, and then I would like train obviously in the morning, like around noon in New York. Come back, then I go to like to teach my classes. Then I'd come back, and like if I could, I'd hop at an open mat or something like that. Come back after the open mat and then do my homework, start the day again. You know what I mean? So like it was just like I would wake up early. I remember I had to get by like 7:30. Like, go do my classes until like 10, something like that. And then once I started doing pro training, I actually switched my classes so that I can do them. I did some online, and then I did 3-hour classes where I would be like, all right, I couldn't go in Tuesdays and Thursdays into the city because I logged all my 3-hour classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I was just, Tuesdays and Thursdays were brutal. I would just go in there and just like, all right, it's 8 a.m. Not getting out of here until like 5. Buckle down, and do my classes like that.
How long did it take you to get into the city?
Oh my God, don't tell me. So like when I started commuting into the city, I think it was sophomore year. I want to say sophomore year, yeah. And I would leave the school at like 7:30. 7:20 was when the bus took off, and I wouldn't get there until about 10:30, maybe 11, if I'm lucky. That's like that was like on a good day. And then I like go to Unity, be like 20 minutes late. 20 minutes early, and then like that would be that. And then it got to a point where like the bus system was so bad, right, that I would like come into the city and I'd be like an hour late, and I'd have to look me on the face because I hate being late, right? So like I do not like being late. Like I really don't. Like I hate it. But man, like at that time I really, really hated it too because I was in school. Like now I have my own gym. If I'm 5 minutes late, it's like, dang, I'm 5 minutes late. But like, look, guys, I'm teaching class, so it's okay. You know what I mean? Like chances are, chances are too, like most of my students are like 15 minutes late anyway. Like, you know what I mean? So like I'm typically not that far behind. Most of the time I'm in front, even if I'm only late. But like back then, like I was like in college mode, like get to class early. You know what I mean? So I was in same thing for jiu-jitsu, get to jiu-jitsu early. Like, so like every time I look at Amarillo and be like, yo, like it really wasn't me. Cause I would just feel like he'd be like in his head, he wouldn't say it, but I would in my like heart, I'd be like, damn, like he's probably like, yo, this kid is like not committed. You know what I mean? I'm trying to help him get better at jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? He's like freaking coming in an hour late. I didn't want him to believe that, to think that. So I'd be like, look, man, like, I don't know if you ever came from Jersey, but man, this is rough. Like, you know, like I'm trying to get here.
I've only ever come from
early.
the Port Authority, and getting from Port Authority to like downtown is hell. So I couldn't imagine trying to take public transportation.
Dude,
I went to school in Queens, and that shit is ridiculous. Like from one borough to the other, it will take you an hour at times, at least. Like if we were going from Queens to somewhere else, at least an hour.
Bro, have you ever gone through Lincoln Tunnel?
Oh my God.
Bro, yes, that was me every day.
Oh.
Son, there were days where you would literally not move for like an hour.
Yeah.
Like you're in the same spot. So like, not gonna lie, I had my first like anxiety attack, I think you call it. Like I'm pretty confident this is what this is. And like I was just like in the freaking bus, and like, you know how you just don't move for so long, and you're just like packed like sardines. Like right now, this would give people a heart attack with all the COVID stuff going on. But it's like, dude, they would pack the bus, every seat, and then people would stand up in the middle of the aisle. So like I remember one day I was like in the window, next to the window, and I was just sitting there, and we hadn't moved for like an hour. I didn't have a cell phone back then. Like I was just sitting there. And
you ain't have a cell phone?
No, read a book, a good book.
Oh yeah, a book.
So like, bro, no, I had nothing. I just had my training gear. So I was just sitting there, and like the first hour I got through it fine. And like, I know it was like after the hour, somewhere after that hour, I lost it because like I asked the girl next to me, like I was like, yo, what time is this? And I remember just thinking like, it's been an hour and we've been in the same spot. This is serious. Like, and I just started like kind of like low key hyperventilating, but like not trying to act out. You know what I mean? But like, dude, the bus got small. And then I started remembering that we're underwater, and I'm like, yo, what is yeah.
Because you're in New York, and you New York, you grew up in the tri-state area, so you grew up like when all the 9/11 happened, so you're probably like, yo, what happened? Like, it's real panic.
I'm like, yo, like, why are we not moving for like an hour? This is my first time experiencing that. I didn't know. I'm still new to the game. I didn't know that this is like an everyday occurrence, because my first like month was like, I thought it was bad, but I didn't realize that was the best it was ever going to get. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so like, I was like, after that, I was like, man, I got to get on this. I got to get on the 6:20 train, like, so I could get the training at like 9. At that point, I used to come like, I would get into the city at that point, like at like friggin', I think it was like 10 o'clock, and I would just lay on the mats and knock out. And then guys would be waking me up like, Bones, it's time to train. I'm like, let's go. Let's get dressed, you know. So yeah, and it was wild.
Easy. And for now on, at the end of the episode, instead of asking for Instagrams, we're gonna have everybody drop their Cash App, because you know this sport ain't easy.
Yo, man, it really isn't. It really isn't. Going to college and doing it ain't easy.
I didn't know you were in college. Like, I was impressed about like how much work I knew you did with the kids and still competing at such a high level. And then like, college is one thing. Law school.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get to law school. That's where I wanted to go.
I mean, like, if you still have those endeavors, like, I mean, I like, because when I first, as an undergrad, I was like a government major, and then I took a couple classes, and I was like, oh no, this shit ain't for me, and I switched straight up quick to like fine arts. It's just like like the law way is just,
it's hard.
It's not.
My uncle got his law degree. He said it was like the hardest shit he ever had to do. Hardest.
But you know what's funny? For me, I don't know why, like, I really just enjoyed it. I really did. Like, I remember when I was in high school, I had friends who were in law school, and they would just hand me down all their material. You know what I mean? And I was like reading books I was like trying to read all the books that they were reading. I was like I would read it after they finished it, but I was just immersed in that like field of study, and I really liked it. And so for me, it wasn't like, even when I was in college, it wasn't that difficult to like write like the 20-page papers and read the like 6 or 7 books to like get your sites and stuff, get your sites and stuff like that. But I don't know. I had to come to a decision at one point, because as like I started getting more opportunities with the gym, and then I started doing better in competition, it got to a point where like, at first, winning worlds was like a long-term goal. And I was just like, you know, like, I might not win. Like, I don't know when I'm going to win. I know I'm going to win. Just like now with black belt. It's like, I don't know when I'm going to win, but I'm gonna win. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just keep doing my little things in between. But I had the same idea about like the law school stuff, and then it got to a point where like I got close enough, I felt like, to that elite Purple Belt level at that time, and I was like, I can get there and eclipse that, but to do that most efficiently, I couldn't do the school at the same time, and then have the gym, and then teach kids and teach adults. So I was like, you know, I have a friend, he's my mentor, you know, and he sat me down one day. He's like, dude, you're like 20. In 10 years, you'll be 30. I didn't get my law degree until I was 38, and I'm pretty fine. You know, he's doing very well, you know. And he was like, look, you're only going to be young once. He's like, I would much rather you go out and, like, you know, give this a shot, and if it falls flat on his face, you come back and then go get your law degree, because like I know the type of commitment that you have when you put your mind to it. I know how dedicated you get when you decide that you're going to do something. So I don't feel like 10 years from now that's going to change. You know what I mean? You know, I feel like 10 years from now you might even be more motivated, more focused, more aggressive about those goals, because you'll have less on your plate in that regard. You won't be trying to do two things at once. You'll be focused on one particular goal. And the same thing is true for the now. If you focus on jiu-jitsu and you give it 100%, like, you'll be able to surprise yourself with what you can do. He was the first person to tell me that I could be a world champion. I didn't know what a world champion was when I was a white belt. You know, he was the first one that started telling me, like, hey, like, you can do that. Like, I think that you can be on that level in a few years. And you know, he was always challenging me to just keep bettering myself. And that was the first step. Like, when I was like, all right, if you are telling me this, like, I know nothing about life. You know, which is why I talk to you. Like, like, you have seen life. If you're telling me that I will be more fulfilled by doing this, like, not even from a monetary standpoint, but like, just like from a, like, as a person, that you'll most likely be more fulfilled giving jiu-jitsu a try. And then if you have to go back to law school, I'd rather try it that way. You know, that's why I put you in the position to be able to guide me. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, fine. And I talked to my mom about it. You know, my mom has always been like super supportive. Like, I hear people talk about their moms and like how they want them to do, like, you know, the X, Y, and Z, and you have to do it this way, and this is what success is. My mom never drew those lines for me. You know what I mean? She was always just like, does it make you happy? Are you gonna work hard? And if I was, go for it. Like, she would always get behind anything I did. You know, if I told her I wanted to like be in a circus, you know what I mean? Like, my mom would be like, all right, if that's what makes you happy, just work hard, be committed. You know what I mean? And if I showed her that I was doing that, she was team Devhonte, team Bones. You know, before I was Bones, she was like, you know, Tater Tot, team Tater Tot. That's what she calls me, right? So she's like, no matter what, like, as long as I was happy and I was going to work hard, she's in my corner. So that gave me, you know, that last like vote of confidence to be like, all right, I'm going to go against what everybody from the academic field tells me, what like the world tells us, and I'm just going to do what I think I want to do in my life. And, you know, never looked back since. And I've been very blessed and very, it's funny because like, I felt like college taught me a lot of things. And if I'm talking too much, you guys need to switch topics, let me know. But like, I felt like college taught me a lot, right? But like, through jiu-jitsu, like, college taught me a lot about like kind of like getting from like, you know, being a retarded 18-year-old to like,
did you graduate or
somewhat,
did you drop a major? Sorry to interrupt, but did you graduate?
Yeah, so I had to drop. I actually dropped out as a junior.
Oh.
I just couldn't like hold on to it. And so my junior year, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna put this on pause, and like, if I'm not a world champion in 10 years, like, then I'll go back. You know what I mean? So like,
but it was still enough to learn. That was just an interesting question.
Exactly.
But
you know what I mean? But like, in those 3 years, you know, I was like, you know what it was too? I didn't want my GPA to drop too low, too bad, because then it's like, what's the point if you're not gonna be focused?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like, when I got into, like, when I started jiu-jitsu, it just kind of like, it just felt right. When I was training every day, focusing on like helping my kids, you know, focusing on like, you know, trying to figure out how to like run an adult program and like getting adults to listen to you even though you're 21, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you know, it was like so many new things, and like learning how to deal with like adults who have more money than you and, you know, think that they know everything. Not like that was my students, but like even like coming into like dealing with like other people, you know what I mean, that were like relative to like the same environment, you know what I mean, like other instructors, you know, like, you're a purple belt, like what are you doing as an instructor, you know? You know, like, it's just like you deal with like a lot of like weird stuff. And you're like 21 and you're trying to open up your own gym.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I just learned from all of that. And like, it was funny because my mom, every time she comes to the gym and she sees like the parents of my kids, she's like, man, like I've always felt like so comfortable leaving you, like, you know, to do this because like you have like a bunch of other moms who would take care of you, like they're your mom, you know what I mean? And so like all the parents that I've had throughout the years, luckily for me, have been so like major in that like developmental like process in terms of like me like as a person, because I learned so much from dealing with them and like just trying to help their kids, you know, like I'd be trying to help their kids and they're like trying to teach me about like, you know, how to like do things the right way and to like just like get through life, you know what I mean? So like it was I wouldn't regret it. Like if someone told me right now you can go back and if you finish college you'd be a billionaire, and if you just do jiu-jitsu, like maybe you'll be a millionaire, maybe not, maybe you'll be broke, I would still take my chances, like, you know, rolling the dice with jiu-jitsu, because like the people that I met, their friendships, the relationships, the experiences, like invaluable. You know what
It's
I
the
mean?
road less traveled, you know.
Oh
My
yeah.
mom Dukes is always supportive. Like for me, she was always like, listen, when you die and they put you on the ground, like you got to go there knowing that you did what you wanted to do because you only got
Yeah.
one time, you know?
Seriously.
So you went through all that, you know, you went through all the traveling, you had to deal with that traffic, which is ridiculous, whether it's public transportation or not. And you went to Murillo Santana's Academy, Unity, which, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
remember when y'all first started, like I always knew you guys were some dogs. You got straight up killers there. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like training in Unity? Because we've seen the videos of y'all throw the water hoses in the closet, and then you got the Meow brothers breaking each other's ankles, and then you got.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about? And Nico, you have another side question about that too. But let's start with what's it like training under Murillo Santana, who is a certified G and OG in this game.
So, man, it's like, man, Murillo is like a special dude in my opinion. You know what I mean? I feel like if I just like listed like how much he's done for me personally, like I would be here for like, you know, like I probably wouldn't be able to leave. But just a special person, magical person in my opinion, because like, man, like I remember, so like it's funny because like I'll say this just because it was like the first thing he ever told me that like I was just like, wow, like this guy's different. You know what I mean? I was just like, man, like I was rolling with him and I was like mesmerized. This is like maybe the first or second time I trained with him. And like I was coming back, I was like going to the locker room and we were just talking and he was like, you know, kind of, he probably just saw that I just got annihilated by every black belt and brown belt that was in that training session. And, you know what I mean? And like, you know, I was just like, dang, I am never going to get that good. You know what I mean? Like, I had never seen
We've
guys
all
just
been
that
there.
good. You know, like, you know, you get beat up by Leandro round 1, you get tossed by Paulo round 2, you get wrapped up by Joao round 3, Murillo kills you 4, 5, and 6. Like, it was just like, it was wild. And back then I used to roll Murillo like 3 times a day. You know what I mean? 1, 3, and 5,
God.
or 4, 5, and 6 back then. And I just remember one day, I was like the second day of training, and like I was just thinking, I was like, man, like I can't even finish training really. Like, you know, there would be some days I come in there. Seriously, bro, like there would be some days in the beginning I come in there and like if I could just only take 1 round off, I would be happy. Like I'd be like, yo,
Wait,
like I did.
You thought you couldn't finish training or you didn't finish training? And did you
No, I
throw up
could
at
not
all?
finish. Like, no, I couldn't finish training. Like, it was just like, it was physically and mentally impossible for
Yeah.
me to like get through like 10-minute rounds of training with like 1 minute rest in between each round. And like, I am rolling with Leandro, and Leandro's like, if you can't keep up, let me find another training partner. You know what I mean? Like, they're looking at you like, yo, like you're purple belt, but like, yo, let's go. Let's go. Let's figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, I can't.
It's like you're getting jumped in a gang. Like,
Yeah.
you get jumped.
Yo, bro. Yo, I'm getting hit from all angles. Yo, bro, I'm like rolling with Yago. I'm like dying, and Yago's like pulling me to the center of the mat and just to like sweep me up overhead. I'm thinking like he's like, come on, you'll be fine. Like, and the next thing you know, I'm like overhead swept from lasso and stuff. I'm just getting like annihilated. And I remember like I would be like, if I could get 1 round in, if I can only rest for 1 round, I did a good job that day. And like that's how I used to like incrementally build up. And I remember one day, Murillo was just wiping the floor of me, and I was just like, I couldn't even begin to process what that man was doing. Like that's how bad it was. Like that's how bad I was when I first came to that gym. And I just remember, he was talking to me. He's like, you get beat up, you get roughed up, but like you never stop like waiting for that one opportunity. You know, because that's how I was, bro. Like, you could beat me up, but man, if you make a mistake,
Yeah, that's how
every last one of those whoopings.
Yes.
Like, yo, you give me an inch.
Just give me a little light, and I'm gonna get your ass.
I'm gonna pop up on
Give
you,
me a
son.
little bit. Yo, bro, that's it.
I'ma
Yo,
get
bro, a
you.
little bit. If you give me a
That's
little
that
bit, that's it.
bad.
It's a wrap.
Yeah,
And
that's that
so
heart. You
I
gotta
remember
have
him
that
telling me,
heart.
yeah, man, I remember him telling me, he's like, yo, he's like, I don't care if you're, you know, the rawest talent I ever met, or you're like, you know, the most I'll take the kid with the most heart and like less talent over the kid with the most talent and like no heart, you know what I mean, any day, because like you can't teach that in that type of mentality, that type of like mindset, you know what I mean? He's like, you have that, you know what I mean? You just need to be consistent and patient. And I was like, man, if I could just get half as good as you are, you know, like I'd be happy. And he was like, no, the goal is for you to be better than me. You know what I mean? And when he told me that, I was like, oh wow, like, cause I never really like. I remember, I guess at that point in time, I was like,
no cap.
seriously, like, I was
That's
like,
what we do it for.
you know, a little purple belt and like this like elite level black belt. That's
Little, like, were
wiping the
you
floor with
ever
everybody.
little?
I mean, in my
Yeah,
mind,
bro.
you know what I mean? In my mind, I was like bro, at that time, bro, I was like 180, string bean, you know,
120.
getting thrown around the mat. In my opinion, dude, I'm like 240 right now. So like,
240?
You know,
Yo!
We need an episode where you tell us how you're weightlifting and like how you're able to fluctuate your weight. But continue.
We did want to talk
Talk
about
about
that.
how you
Yes.
were a little string bean and he told you.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So like at that point, you see why I call myself a little purple belt, because I was like 180, 185, dying every day. But like, you know, so in my mind, I was like, I had so much admiration for this person, and they're like, yo, like you're gonna be better than me. Like he didn't tell me like you could be. He's like, I'm gonna make sure. You know, he's like, listen, you're gonna be better. You're gonna achieve much more. Like that's the goal. That's a good professor's goal, is to push you further than anything that they could have achieved, you know, that they had achieved, you know what I mean? So like I had never really like thought about that, you know what I mean? Like in my mindset, I was just trying to survive. And so like, that was like the first thing where I was just like, yo, this guy is different. And I was just like, I was hooked from that moment. I'm like, this is the guy that I want to learn from, you know what I mean? And then he just continues to like remind me every day, just by the way that he handles, like he handled my progression from 2015 to now, and the way that he continues to help me progress and just deal with like everything. It's just like, it just reminds me like, yeah, like I made the right decision back then, because like that for me was more important than training, like right there. And then like when I took that back into the training, like it was just like that was like the switch that helped me acclimate to the training. And if you talk about the training as a whole, like it's just different. I consider like Unity like the hyperbolic time chamber, you know what I mean? Because like it gets hot as hell, all the mats are white, so like, you know, like it just has that like hyperbolic time chamber look. And if you don't know about DBZ, YouTube it, hyperbolic time chamber, because you missing out. And like, yo, I'm confident that Murillo just turns up the heat to like the highest that it can go to like scorch us. And then like, you know, that's training. Like it doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees out or if it's 100 degrees out. It's like it's super hot in there. And then like you have, what's that?
Brazilian style. See, like we're running out of time, but that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, because Unity does have like Murillo and Talis and the Meow Brothers, and like a lot of what you describe reminds me of when Talis talks about Talis, not Talis and Talis, talks about when he first went to Cicero Costa and they fucked him up and he was just crying because he went down there with a hurt ankle too, and he was like, yeah, they was tearing me up. And I was like, oh, this sounds exactly like that. So do you see a difference in training with like those Brazilians as compared to training with Americans, or is it just like Unity is just like a whole like, what do you think?
I think it's just culture. I think it's more about the culture. And like I think Murillo's just created a really good culture about like how you're supposed to be. Like I think that like what makes the guys, like I can't speak about any other gyms. I don't know. I've never trained at actually like Cicero's. I've actually never trained at Brotherhood, so I really don't know like what like the other Brazilian gyms. I've never trained at any of the other big team gyms. Like I just, only other gym that I went to before, what happened?
Homegrown.
Yeah, the only other gym that I went to before I trained at Murillo's was Marcelo's. You know what I mean? Like I have been to Marcelo's. I took a peek in Henzo's and I didn't even train. Like, you know, I just like looked at it. But like once I was debating, I was like, there was even a point where I thought about coming to Lloyd Irvin's actually before I went to Unity, because I was like, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was like, oh, that's a team full of black people. Like, I'm gonna go down there. You know what I mean? Like, I asked my mom about it. If she get mad if I left, you know, I could come visit her on the weekends, yada yada yada. Because I thought it was really cool to have, like I was saying, like I was following Tim and all of them since like I was a white belt. You know what I mean? And like, so like I thought it would be cool to like go there and train. So like the week that I came to Unity, that was still on my mind. You know what I mean? The first pro training though, I was like, I don't need to go anywhere else. Like this is where I'm gonna be. Like it just made sense. You know what I mean? And I think that Murillo just did and still does a great job of creating a culture that just like teaches his competitors and his students like what it means to be like a professional. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be a professional jiu-jitsu competitor, but you understand that work ethic of like what it means to be a master of your craft. Because like when I think of him, I don't think of like, oh, you know, Murillo Santana is a great instructor, or Murillo Santana, like, you know, the competitor. I just think like this guy's a master of his craft. You know what I mean? Like this guy's a scientist. Like I call him like the mad scientist. Like I used to tell my students all the time, like, they're like, yo, like, you know, they ask me like what my goals are for year. I'm like, yo, like, you know, once I talk to the scientist and I map it out, like, then I'll know. Then I'll know. You know what I mean? Because we talk every year about what the goals are going to be, and we've done this since like 2015. Like, he told me like every world title that I won, he almost to the T predicted, literally every one of them. You know what I mean? Like, he would tell me like, yeah, you're going to do it this year, that year, this year, and it's going to go like this. You know what I mean? This might be a bit of a rough patch, but we're going to do this, and this is how we're going to get that. And, like, every single time, all I have to do was just follow the plan. You know what I mean? Just stay to the course.
Yeah.
And it's always been like that. You know what I mean? And, like, but he'll do that while teaching you how to build for yourself at the same time, too. So he's just, like, a true master of his craft. You know what I mean? So, like, and that's what I feel like he challenges us to do the same thing, to, like, become a master of your craft. Don't just do jiu-jitsu. Don't just compete. Don't be a master of this art. Like try to understand every little aspect of your game and how it relates to jiu-jitsu and what you want to do with it. And so, you know, like, I think that's the biggest thing, because when you come in like that, when he shaped, like, I remember when we were pro belts, the biggest thing he did was shape our minds, and then the bodies followed. You know what I mean? So, like, I remember, like, he got hurt one year. I think it was 2016 Worlds, 2015 or 16. Like, he got hurt in the summer, and, like, all he could do was teach back then. And so, like, he, like, in that, like, span of, like, 6 months, he pulled something out of us that we didn't even know existed there. And then ever since then, it's just been, like, every year we like, increase, like, exponentially. And it's kind of hard to put into words, but, like, that guy just has a real way of, like, leading, like, leaders. And so, yeah, I think that's the thing that separates the gym. You know what I mean? And that's why we could be like we've never been the biggest team, you know, but we'd always have this like team of like 10, 12, 15 guys in the beginning. And like everybody was like a heavy hitter, like, you know, maybe you don't win, but like whoever gets that dub on you, like they're gonna be like, oh, that guy was tough. Like that's a tough dude. Like,
Unity guy, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Seriously, like, yo, like, you know, you know, don't sleep on those guys. Like, you know, so I think that's the biggest thing. I don't know if that's a great answer for you, but like for me, that's the biggest thing.
That's an awesome answer.
Beautiful answer. Like, we're just gonna cut that off right there and be like, damn, that was very eloquent.
Yeah, man.
Devhonte, man, like, really, I have a newfound appreciation for your work, and I learned a lot about you. Really appreciate you coming on the show, bro. Is there anything you'd like to shout out? You want to shout out your academy? Anything that you have coming up?
Your Cash App. Yes. Already dropped the Academy Street name.
Drop the Cash App. Drop the Cash App. We will put it in the comment section. We'll drop it on the, just
go sign up. He dropped the Academy Street name.
You know something?
Several times.
Cash App, OnlyFans, any of that stuff. Let us know.
Let me tell you, I think you are the messiah of New Jersey, because when you say, oh, I went to Unity, and I was just like, oh, I ain't have to leave. Had you moved down to like Maryland, the commute would have been so much easier. That commute that you described was hell. So you were destined to be with Murillo there, like, because anybody was like, yeah, I can do this in the train, in the tunnel, and instead of just being like, I'm gonna live in Master Lloyd's house and have him Uber me or like Uber to training, Nah.
Mhm.
Like, you are just where you're destined to be.
100%. I will say this: if someone does just decide to drop something, then give it to the kids that you work with in the favelas. I would be much with that.
Oh, you're not gonna donate the Daisy Fresh.
You stupid. That'll be all right.
Bet on that one. Goodbye.
Hey, donate some soap. Hey, listen, this has been the BJJ Goons podcast. Shout out to Devhonte Johnson, Bones, for coming on the show. Nico, anything you want to shout before we dip?
No,
Any
this was a great episode. Thank you so much for making some time. You apparently are going to have like a busy day. You're always like running around. I have a busy day tomorrow, which is why I'm also laid out. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to follow me at No New Nico and Favela Jiu Jitsu on Instagram.
Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys share it. Make sure you tell everyone about the podcast. You can find me at Tim Spriggs BJJ on Instagram or Facebook. You can go to timspriggsbjj.com. Why don't you book a private? Maybe book me for a seminar, because I'm going to Savannah, Georgia, Champions Training Center in Savannah on November 14th. I will be teaching you how to throw people and choke people out. Super easy. This has been the BJJ Goons podcast. Thanks for watching and listening. Peace.